Hello, David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience.
And Ellis from
me.
From you.
That's right. This is Ellis, my son. You may have seen him in some of the Oliver Brown videos, as well as you did a very, very popular video. It went like gangbusters. It was Not Your Father's James Bond. Do you remember that?
That's right. Yeah, that was fun.
It was a lot of fun, and for some reason, a lot of people actually watched it with their families.
Oh, wow.
Spouses, their kids, etc. And on top of that, it was one of our only videos that received a few head nods from official venues as well. We sent it off to Universal, we sent it off to Eon, and it's interesting. It really seemed to connect with a lot of people. But you're back, and we have to explain why. Because Ellis has agreed, and I used to think you were so smart, to do a review of Never Say Never Again.
Yes.
Now, have you seen this film before?
So I thought I did.
Right.
And then you started to say, I think you would have remembered watching it. And I said, yeah, you're probably right. So.
And I don't know if I would have abused you as a child.
Well.
As much by showing you this.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So Never Say Never Again, Sean Connery's back. And it was interesting that year because it was the same year that Octopussy came out, one of your favorite films.
Favorite, yeah.
Yeah. So this was a year that had 2 Bond films. This was not considered an official canon film, so they weren't allowed to use the Bond theme. Oh. They weren't allowed to use a lot of the tropes that you will find, that you've come to know and love. So it was literally Roger Moore against Sean Connery that year. And by the way, both winners, both films, from a blockbuster standpoint, did really well.
Really?
Yeah. So what do you think the chances are that you're going to like this better than Octopussy?
Well, I wouldn't say better, but I honestly, if it's as bad as you say it is, I'll probably love it. Because I happen to love, like, bad, or what most people consider to be bad movies.
Yeah.
Just out of, like, I love cheesiness. I love...
Okay. Check.
Bad acting.
Check.
I love horrible wardrobe choices.
Check.
Cool. So I think I'll love it.
Okay. All right. Let's give it a try. We're going to watch it together. Truly watch it together, and we may, poke in and out like while we're watching it. I do have the local hospital on speed dial.
Thank you.
Just in case you need it. Mm-hmm. So we'll be all set. Then we're going to come back afterwards. We're going to talk about all the different aspects of the film.
Cool. Sounds good.
You ready to do this?
I think I am.
Let's go to it. So I have to just stop the movie real quick. So I just realized, and this is just me being very transparent, when we put this movie on, this is a version that somebody gave me where they replaced all the bad music throughout the film with good James Bond music, like stuff from David Arnold. So they're watching a much better version of what it was originally planned. Yeah, I know. So you're not going to see the incredible awfulness, just the mildly awfulness. Mm-hmm. So you're okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, already the horrible editing's making up for it, so
yeah,
it's bad enough.
Yeah, all right, so let's get on with the show.
It does make it a little bit more palatable.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we just saw the shrubland scene, and you were laughing quite a bit.
It's not bad. I think it's really funny so far. No clue what's happening, just because
there's no storyline yet.
There's no storyline.
You thought it was like a health ad, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, it's just I'm kind of like, all right, when's it gonna start? You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really funny.
Oh my!
It's really funny and
who ordered
just
the
random.
dog?
I don't know, but not a lot of continuity issues happening as well.
No, let's keep watching.
Yeah.
So we're watching the video game portion of Never Say Never Again. How's it going so far?
It's actually, other than the plot, it's actually not bad. Kind of impressed, but this part is just ridiculous.
It's just
absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
Their version of Tron.
Well, it's like a battleship.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
it's just they're making it so much more complicated
Yeah.
than it needs to be.
Now imagine it without this music. It's even tougher.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd watch it again to hear the original music.
Don't do it.
No. Yeah, it's not bad. I kind of like it.
All right, we'll get back to it then.
Your brother's dead. Keep dancing. Largo's the prime suspect. Your brother was used and then eliminated.
Okay, and we are back. All right, and you're still breathing.
A little tired, a little hungry, thirsty. Feels like I've been through a desert.
Feels like you've been through like a casino. Your eyes are all dry, and
There's just so many environments happening. I couldn't keep up.
yeah. Well, let's start out with first of all, as you saw in that little clip of us sitting on the couch, I didn't realize that the only version I had was a version that is a special edition that a fan actually took and re-edited different music and even opening titles and things like that. So we did get a slightly better version because music really helps things. wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, the music choice was actually really good. So I haven't seen the original version, and I don't think I will ever be able to see the original version after what I watched. But it had to have helped because it was actually not bad.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about that. So right from the very beginning, you were making a couple comments that you found Sean Connery to look very old. You actually said out loud 3 or 4 times, like, oh, he's so old.
Yeah,
Talk
well,
to me about
anytime
that.
he kind of like took off his shirt, which was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Why? I don't know. It was very unnecessary, and especially, I mean, how old was he in this?
So he was exactly my age that I am now.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I
yeah.
would not have guessed that.
Exactly my age now.
Yeah, he did not look great. I mean, obviously, he looked better than the current Sean Connery.
Well, yeah, the current Sean Connery's in his 80s, but I mean,
Yeah.
one of the things you have to realize in Diamonds Are Forever, which was years before this, he actually did not look good. And he was in his 40s. Here he's like, 51, 52 when he made this. So, but yeah, his shirt was off a lot.
It was, yeah. And even there was one scene where he jumps into the water, and all of a sudden he doesn't have a shirt on, and he had like 6 layers of clothes.
I wonder if
All
it
of
was
a
in his
sudden, nothing.
contract, like, you need to take off your shirt 5 times. Not 4, but 5.
I don't know why. It was a little strange. Definitely strange.
Sean Connery was like kind of the man in the 80s. I mean, but all
It
right.
seemed like that with the women in the film.
All right,
for
so
sure.
let's talk about that because he literally walks by like, 20-year-olds in bikinis and they all like drop their drinks and look at him. How realistic did this feel?
Oh, I mean, well, here's the thing. It's a Bond, technically a Bond film, so it wasn't too crazy.
Yeah.
If it was coming off of like another Bond film, like a Pierce Brosnan Bond film, I
Right.
think I would have been like, all right, that's normal. But yeah, I mean, it was really, they went wild with that. They even paused a lot of the times. I would have thought, as he's walking into like the massage scene,
Right.
they pause on like 3 different girls' face, and I'm like, oh, they're probably like they're bad guys or something. They never come back to them. They're just saying, yeah, he's so attractive.
They're ogling him. When he walks into the casino, there's this point where literally this young woman like meets his eyes and he regards her and she regards him and there's this chemistry and I'm like, what's going on? But it should be because it's Bond.
Right.
Bond is ageless. I mean, Roger Moore was, betting Stacey Sutton in A View to a Kill. That's a whole other subject. All right, so talk to me about the overall plot. First of all,
What plot?
I was just going to say, can you summarize the plot for us?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So it starts off with a nice little retreat.
Yes, they go to Shrublands,
Yeah.
which I thought had its moments.
I thought that was kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
Again, it led to absolutely nothing.
No,
I mean,
Mr.
it
Bean
set up.
surprised you. That,
Yeah, Mr. Bean, that was nice.
Yeah.
I've never seen him in a role other than that's very good. That's more like him than he was in this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
He did a good job because I was kind of impressed to see him outside of that role.
And what did you think of the M, who is constantly yelling.
Sorry, Joe, you're going to have to turn down the volume there.
I just saw the volume jump like this. No, but I mean M. What did you think of M in this?
Oh,
version?
terrible. Absolutely terrible. Very one note. Just screaming, yelling. That was basically his character, was just screaming, which was kind of entertaining and a little funny. Oh, that's the...
and what did you think of Q?
Funny. Q, at first, I was like, oh, this is terrible. This guy's like, he seemed like he was from the Bronx. Like, he was very cheesy. But then, towards the end of that scene, I kind of liked him. Because he was very cheesy, which, like I said, I really like cheesy stuff. So he was actually kind of funny.
He was kind of fun, yeah.
Yeah, he was
redeemable. Fun. I think the M was just so grating. And then even when M calls at the end of the film, he's like screaming at Bond, it's like, really? Mm-hmm. This is just, it took me right out of a Bond film.
It was pretty much every single character other than Bond was very one note. Like, it's as if they had no other previous life. No
before a Bond
plot
movie.
Further. Yeah, it was just kind of, here they are. And they either die or they just literally have one note.
Well, let's talk about one of the most interesting characters, I think, of the film, and that's Fatima Blush.
Yes.
Because of her amazing outfits, her Don't Touch Me pants. I mean, what did you think of her as a henchwoman? I mean, she was an assassin, really.
Yeah. She was interesting at the start. And I think that it just got very old because it was, her whole thing was just, kept messing up and then kept messing up and kept messing up.
True.
And her outfits got worse and worse and worse.
Interesting. So as she became more adept and failed more, her outfits became more piratey.
Yeah, I don't know if that was on purpose, but it seemed like it was to me. That would have been like a nice foreshadowing, I think.
Right.
But I don't think that's what they meant. I think that was a total bias.
And she was over the top. I mean, her acting in this was insane. And I love the fact that they dispatch her with the pen.
Yes.
I mean, that was...
waiting for that to make its appearance.
Yeah, kind of a build up to that. But I mean, I remember when she explodes, you actually were shocked. You're like,
I was like,
God.
oh my gosh.
Oh God.
It was so violent. And he had no reaction to it whatsoever. He was just kind of
No.
All right.
No, the writing is on the wall or anything like that. It's just nothing cheesy.
No.
What did you think about the bad guy? So the main bad guy, I think he had some maniacal, like Max Zorin moments. I didn't think he did a horrible job.
No, I thought he was actually kind of interesting for a villain. I mean, I could definitely compare him to a lot of the other Bond villains.
Right.
In the fact that he's just kind of like, sure, I'll tell you my plans before you die. Who cares? But yeah, he was unique in some ways. I mean, with the whole thing with Domino, he was very like obsessive over her, and then at the very end, he was just kind of like, sell her off. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it was a good actor, a good villain in a bad film.
Yes,
and I think that it's one of these guys. It's almost like Christoph Waltz in Spectre.
Yeah,
you got this really good actor. He's got a couple of moments, but he's surrounded by not the greatest dialogue. By the way, I should have said this to you up front, but I'm glad I didn't going into it. Domino, Largo, Warheads. This is a remake of Thunderball.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Well, I mean,
or was it
literally every scene where there was a body of water, I was kind of like, geez, this is just... I mean, it was even down to the point where he had, the knife strapped onto his to his calf.
That's true.
Where I was like, wow, that is just such a mirrored image of Thunderball. The only difference was instead of a bright orange jumpsuit, it was like a little bit more slick.
It was more subtle.
More subtle. But there was orange in most of the most of the wetsuits, which I thought was interesting.
Well, McClory, the producer, owned the rights to Thunderball, owned the rights to even Spectre, and that's why every other word in this film is Spectre, 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 Spectre. And
in matters of death, Spectre is strictly impartial.
They remade Thunderball, basically. And what did you think about, we talked about, obviously, Sean Connery's age. What about his portrayal of Bond? Did it feel like James Bond?
It did. I thought it did. I thought it was more Bond than... y'all are going to hate me for this. I thought it was more Bond than Craig. in a lot of ways.
Okay. No, this is your opinion. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, but if you haven't seen me in past videos, I love cheesiness. Roger Moore is my favorite Bond.
It's true.
Always will be, no matter what.
Yeah.
So to me, I like Sean Connery as Bond, and I always will. So.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, I thought in this, he was very the pompous Bond, which I like personally.
He was extremely pompous.
Oh yeah, the scene where I literally said that's so pompous, where Fatima
Blush, yeah,
Fatima Blush comes out of the water and lands in his arms, and he's immediately like, "This is normal." I'm like, how pompous can you be to just be
wet,
like, yeah,
but my martini is dry.
Yeah, my martini's
It's
dry.
like, it's perfect.
Yeah, that was awesome, and I was like, wow, that is so Bond for him to just believe that a woman would just fall into his arms.
I actually thought Sean Connery was more Bond in this than Diamonds Are Forever. I think he kind of sleptwalked through Diamonds Are Forever, but in this, I got the sense like, hey, Bond is back.
Yeah.
And again, if you had the Bond and the baddie, and you just had a different script and let's talk about the Bond girl. I mean, if Kim Basinger, of Batman fame, and how was she? Window dressing. I mean,
she was pretty, again, like one note, like most of the characters, I think, but she wasn't a bad Bond girl.
Yeah.
I mean, she wasn't terrible. The acting was okay. I thought it wasn't bad. It's not. Where is she?
Denise Richards.
Well, okay. I personally like her.
Oh,
even so, she's terrible.
You do like cheesy.
I do.
Who are you
I
pointing
love cheesy.
to? Terry Hatcher.
No, Holly Berry.
Your mama.
Sorry.
Oh, Holly Berry.
I couldn't.
What's that line that she uses with the drink?
I can learn to like it.
I could learn to like it.
Yeah, Joe, can you put that in there?
I can learn to like it if I have the time.
Just for a nice.
And
Sorry,
there it is.
I don't mean to.
No. You can
make it
produce.
work.
You can produce for sure. That is hysterical. Now, to me, Bond. A lot of the Bond films have these big endings with big sets, and it was very funny when you were watching this and you were watching kind of the set. You made mention like this. This didn't look like a set; it looked like a theme park.
Oh yeah.
What did you think about
very end?
the whole look of the film?
Well, I did make a few times. I was like, wow, they're really they're moving. They went to a lot of spots.
That is true. Location-wise.
Location-wise, yeah, a lot of actually really pretty spots.
Yeah.
Like a lot of cultural mixing and everything in there, which I thought was interesting. There's a lot of Bond films that don't do that.
Yeah.
Or don't do it well, I should say.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I liked it. The chase scene, not to jump ahead, but the chase scene was actually really cool.
With the motorcycle.
With the motorcycle, yeah.
So I have to say two things about that. First of all, it's much better than I remember. And number two, it really helped because they put really good music
That's
in with
true.
it.
Yeah,
I mean, the Bond music and everything, but just the whole thing, like even when he skids under the truck.
Yeah.
That's a very Mission Impossible move.
Yeah, and when he's on the rooftops and he's coming down the stairs, and that was really cool. And even at the part where the truck is closing, he makes the escape.
Do you remember what you said about that chase scene?
I said it was better than the one in Spectre.
And it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was more nail biting. It was, you felt like you were connected to the individual because it's a man on a motorcycle, and
even the way it was filmed.
Yeah.
I mean, was actually pretty impressive because you could actually see what was going on, and it made sense. Where he was driving, there was no cuts. And
that's true.
What? There was a lot of that though in the movie. There was
Right.
a lot of cuts where you're like, what was the point of that?
Now, you said something about at the very end, they're underwater. The bad guy gets trapped by some sort of tow sled, type thing underwater, and then boom,
Right.
Domino shoots him.
That was so weird.
What kind of an ending? What did you think of that ending for?
It was so weird. I mean, obviously there was a lot of foreshadowing that she wanted to kill him.
It's essentially the Thunderball ending too. In
Right.
Thunderball, Domino shoots him in the back with a spear gun.
With the spear gun. Yeah. So,
But it lacks suspense
this one,
to me.
right? But this one is just she's there all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Just like with Felix, how he walks in, he's like, "Yeah, I was just watching you deal with it.
Oh,
gonna let you die, but that's fine."
by the way, we liked Felix in this.
I loved him. Yeah. Well, I think he did a really good job. I even said, I was
Yes.
kind of like, they should have used him again.
I
I thought he
know.
was the perfect Felix in this case.
He was funny.
great.
He was snarky. Like, Bond's like, how long you been there? And he goes, long enough. Huh, you're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
He was
great.
the only character that I felt wasn't one note.
That's true.
He was kind of the character that shows up last minute and yada yada. But even before that, he's palling around with Bond. He's a friend. He's an agent, but he's also doesn't care enough to save his life.
Yes, that's true. So you were cracking up at the very ending. What happens at the very ending? Doesn't Bond look at the camera? And
Oh,
it's like,
yes, the wink. Oh,
He breaks the wall.
that was awful.
He's like,
Has there ever been? I can't recall a moment of
No.
Bond breaking the fourth wall like
No.
that. Okay.
no.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
And for it to be the last thing that it leaves the audience
Right.
with, it's like, and in not this version, but the original version, it's like, never say never again.
Oh,
like
wow.
it's like this really high pitched, awful.
I feel like that would have fit better in that case.
Yes, because at least you would have ran for the bathroom. All right, so I maybe fairly, maybe unfairly went into this like telling you like this is going to be horrific and what a terrible Sunday afternoon you're going to experience.
The expectations were set very low.
Set very low. So in the end, was the film better, worse, or about what you expected?
Better than I expected. I
Okay.
think that you did put it in a very like horrifying light, and I think that if we had the original soundtrack, it might have been
Yeah.
how you described it. But I honestly kind of enjoyed it. It was fun. It was cheesy. The outfits were ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean, they were horrible,
Very
but
early
in a
80s.
fun way.
Yes.
Bond was always in like a light colored suit.
Yeah.
He either had like a stone color or a
Yeah, like a
or
beige.
beige.
that's
which
true.
I thought was awful in a way. He just didn't pull it off.
I understand.
He
Well,
didn't- he
that's
wasn't-
when he was wearing a shirt.
Yes,
Because mostly he was not wearing a shirt.
there were a lot of shirtless scenes, and I kept noticing. I know this is such a gross little detail. They shaved his back, but not his arms back
Arms.
here, and there was
Yeah.
just like this bush of hair. And I was like, did they do that on purpose?
No. He probably said, that's enough shaving for me today.
That was just.
I'm out.
I was like, why would they do that if they're going to be so many shirtless scenes? They bother with his back, but not his
Does not
arms.
make sense at all. All right, so you mentioned you probably wouldn't see this movie again, but
No.
it's a little bit more forgiving than you thought.
Yeah. Like I said, it was entertaining to a point. The acting was bad, but I like bad acting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, if I had to rate it out of like
10.
out of a 10,
Yes. Rated out of a 10. 10 being the best, 1 being you hurt me. You hurt me bad.
give it like a 3,
A 3, okay.
3.7.
3 point. Wow, that's not a rookie score. That's a real bona fide score. 3.7, nearly a 4. All right, so that's definitely that you wouldn't watch it again. You wouldn't recommend it, but it wasn't like a 1.5 or a 2.
No, that's
which
like
I was
Spectre.
kind of expecting.
It's like Spectre level.
Wow. Maybe we should have you review the other films.
From Spectre to Octopussy.
Yeah, exactly. And everything in between. All right. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah,
I really
it was
appreciate
fun.
it. I felt bad putting you through it, but I think we had a fun afternoon after all.
It didn't feel like
Laughed.
2 hours. Yeah.
No, it flew by, and Griffin the dog was flying in and out of it. So
Yeah.
at least he remained happy, sort of. Anyway, thank you, Ellis. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. This has been Ellis Zaritsky and David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience, and we will see you real soon. Take care. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.